Stella's article was the truth about being single in Rwanda. That is a very hot subject. Being single in Rwanda is not the easiest thing. Before I even highlight a few segments of Stella's article, what inspired you to write this piece?
All right. I don't know what inspired me. So this is something that I always thought about on my own. And when I decided, let me try writing, I decided to start with something I'm really passionate about or something I have first-hand info on. So everything is so on that article, in that article, is the truth, like 100% truth. I have people that have done this stuff. I have friends
that have gone through it.
So I just decided, let's just put this out there. Perhaps it could change the next generation of men.
I love that. HERVE, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
So you see, we have HERVE here. The reason we have him on the show today is so that he can rescue you men. Because when I said Stella picked on a very sensitive, delicate subject, it involves men. And so you see two women sitting together talking about men, I assure you it will get quite hot. We had to bring in HERVE so that he can defend you who is watching. And we're glad that you're here with us. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Evolve TV it is, and follow us on the different platforms. Evolve Limited. My name is Jackie. It's always a pleasure to host #Evolve Rwanda. Having read Stella's article, I will highlight a paragraph that I loved very much because she used a word that I love, the word leeches. So she says, if she is lucky and gets dropped off after the date, that's some chick now. Maybe I'll go up to maybe the one prior to that. The dating life will come as comfort, you'd think. Then here's a sneak peek into the dating scene in this city of ours, this beloved, beautiful city of ours, Kigali. That we have amazing, beautiful features, and then once in a while our men let us down. So chances are that a woman will be asked how she intends to return home from her first date. If you read the previous sentence and you found no issues with it, Stella says you are part of the problem. If that lady is lucky and she gets dropped off after the date, chances are that the guy will constantly and subtly remind her how he is God's gift to humanity. Like it's on rare occasions that you'll see men go out of the way and do exemplary things. And when they do, for sure, a woman will be reminded till her death time to the grave. And then there's another interesting category. Those men who will be brave enough to ask transport fare from the girl after a hangout. With a straight face, a man will ask for that. Rwandan men are stingy. HERVE, don't say a thing yet.
I'm awake.
You will find your place. So they are stingy.
So about that part, yes. About that part, I saw people saying the economy in Rwanda is bad.
That's a lie. So they wanted us to blame it on the economy.
So the men don't have much left to spend after spending on all this stuff. And I'm thinking, I work too. I have a job. Yeah. I work so hard even after work, you know, like I do all these saxophone gigs. I do different small things, Airbnb, like you try until you find something. But stingy for me is different from generosity. Like if someone is generous, even if they earn 10K, they will call you on a good day and treat you. But if someone is stingy, even if they earn 2 million,
they'll never call you.
In 2 weeks, they'll never call you. They'll just, you know, try to keep this money just in case they get broke at some point. Yeah. So stinginess, it's character. You can't change it.
Yeah. It's not about, there's an article I read somewhere and it talks about giving. Yeah. Giving is not about how much someone has. Yeah. It's about...
It's the heart.
The heart,
yeah.
Yes. And what's unfortunate is when we start talking to our men about that, they'll say, oh, you see, we were not raised to give. We were not raised to share. Maybe my mom did not teach me how to carry something to the neighbor's place.
How is that a man? Like,
but Jackie,
you're waiting for your mom to teach you to learn? Come on.
Exactly.
Hold on.
No, they will blame their mom. They'll tell you, like, oh, so I'm here, yes. They'll go like, but I'm disappointed. You came like that. Yes, because my mom did not teach me how to. So the only spend of bringing in their mom, men do that.
They do that because maybe they didn't get the where they can learn other things their mom didn't teach them. But it comes down to the point of how, like the man, the person who you identify as a man, what are the characteristics of a man? Like, what's what are they supposed to do? What are they not supposed to do? You know, some men cannot grasp that. Some men don't think like maybe the woman should be doing everything they want. You know, so it depends. Understanding what the man is. You know, if you talk about a man, then you're not talking about his mother. You're talking about the person himself. You know, his characteristic, not what he gained from his mom or his dad or whatever, but him as a person, as an individual person.
His shortcomings.
His own. Because if you start giving excuse about moms and dads, then I'm sorry, but you're not a man yet.
It's about time that we stopped blaming our parents or people who brought us up for how we behave. True. Because there is an age that you go past and you can't keep on blaming people. Like
exactly.
Learn.
It's your own lesson,
yes.
It's your own being.
Yes.
Yeah,
learn from the people around you, learn from, what you read. Become a better person.
So let me ask, when, do men value the process of seducing a woman, courting her and marrying her, or do Rwandan men wait to unleash responsibility once they are married? Because see, when we talk about being single, it's because a lot of the men we're interacting with, it's during that dating time. And that dating time is when they do not want to take you out for lunch. In fact, most of the time they'll be asking, can I come to your place, you cook for me? That's the dating phase.
Jackie, you just reminded me of one of my exes. So this guy, very nice guy, very cute. You know how Rwandan men like saying that they're very handsome?
Yeah.
They are.
Well,
he was very handsome. But so one day I get really sick. It was a cough, but this really bad cough. So I asked him, can you please help me deliver medication to me? I wasn't asking for flowers. I wasn't asking for wine. I wasn't asking for a new dress.
Yeah.
You know what he told me?
Perfume?
No. He told me, why don't you use Vuba Vuba? I saw a pharmacy there. Why don't you try and order for it online? Yeah. You understand?
Yes.
He's Rwandan.
Yeah. Very nice looking Rwandan man. So
but comes the question. Some of women be looking for boyfriends, you know? You're just looking for somebody that you're gonna be looking good with, you know? Oh, I work with this person. Check this out.
Maybe that is just the first phase of the relationship.
It is the first phase.
Because someone has to become your boyfriend before they can become your fiancé.
Yes, before you can marry them.
Husband, before they become a father.
But before you get to the 10th phase, the person was always in the 10th, like he was always on the first phase, but you still want to make it like you want to escalate. Some people don't want to go up the stairs. I once
visited a guy who was staying alone, and for a few days his day bag help did not come. And so I walk in and the kitchen is dirty. And then I asked, why didn't you wash the utensils? I cannot remember exactly what he said, but I was disappointed in him because somebody of his stature needed to know better than to stay in a dirty environment just because the maid is away, did not show up.
Yeah.
And trust me, that was the last time I saw him. So I don't want a father or a man who thinks it's uncomfortable and unmanly
and beneath
him to do these things for women. And for me, that is the problem that I see with our men.
Yeah.
The Rwandan men. Aside from everything that they use, every time you look at them, you study them keenly, you just say, this man who thinks, I am a man, and so for a man, I should not do this.
Yeah.
For a man, I will not go there. For a man, let the woman do this. I will not cook for my girlfriend. Let her invite me to her place and cook for me. Like, every time you look at them, you see that.
Some men cannot do anything about it because they be like, oh, if I provide A, B, C, D, I don't need to do all that. That's how men be doing. So I think at some point you have to check them, you know, tell them what they're not doing. Communicate, really. Communicate. Because sometimes you be like, oh, he's going to change. No, tell him. There's this cultural thing women have, like they call it kwihangan, you know? It's like, not patience, but
perseverance.
It's like, it's okay. Oh, this happened, it's okay. No. You need to.
It's not just women, even the HEM tells us that.
See, like, it's all like, even in our culture, we have this thing of tolerating everything. Oh, this happened. Oh, you cheated on me. Oh, it's okay. No, don't do that. Teach your men. If he did this, remove something he really likes or whatever. So I think it's understanding, even at a young age, even at a kid who's 5 years old, make him understand he's not a man. Make him understand that his identity is everywhere. He can be anything he wants to be. So don't be like, oh, you're a man, you're supposed to. at a 5-year-old kid, you tell him he's not supposed to sweep the coat.
Mm.
At 10, he will slap you if you tell him to do that.
True.
Oh
You
yes.
understand it?
True.
Like, it develops some sort of rigidity in them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a man. And it comes to go and become rigid. The time you try to mold it, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
if there's love involved, you don't feel like somebody's like a metal. So
Yeah.
you cannot move them.
You can't
so
move
it's
them, yeah.
understanding, even you who gonna board children, your husband might be something else.
Mm.
The education you give your kid,
Mm.
the way you approach your kid, don't tell them, oh, you're a man supposed to. A kid who's not, for me, maybe my kid will know about his gender when he's 6 or 7. You know? So
Yeah.
I want him to understand that it's not about your
As a
sex.
human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about the sex you carry.
You're a
Sex
human
you
being,
carry
yeah.
does its own job, it does its own purposes. But if you take your sex and put it in your head, your head's gonna swell. You're gonna be thinking, I'm a man, or I'm a woman, I cannot do this. No, remove that identity of identifying with just sex you hold, but a wider variety. Because if you embrace everything else, it's gonna be really easy for you to approach it and be like, oh, I can do this. You're not even gonna.
And that's
think
the
about it.
crazy bit, because when I was growing up, my brothers cooked. They did everything that we did. It's when I grew up and came here. Okay, so a little bit about my background. My parents are Rwandan, but they live in Uganda. So when I came here, I realized things are a bit different. Guys are expected to do some things. Women can't do some things. It was so awkward for me to watch. And I was about to ask you, is it because we have this background from different countries? Is this because is this the reason why we find
We
the
will notice certain
Rwandan market different and weird?
It is
Could it be
possible.
the problem? Because I've met a few girls who have no problem with how the men are here,
Yeah.
but I look at how things are done and feel like we need to change a few
It
things.
is possible that it's based on the background, because you see, you'll be thinking of your Ugandan background. I'll be thinking of the Kenyan men that I've interacted with, who have their bad side, by the way.
Of
It's not
course.
like they're also angels.
Of course,
they're not.
yeah.
And then when we have HERVE here, he's representing the Rwandan men. For sure, it will be the different backgrounds. But again, it's about you know better.
Yeah,
I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
The bit about experiencing the different lives,
Variety.
yes, the different variety is because now you know better. There's a song, it's a country, well, done by either Kenny Rogers or something, or one of those. It talks about I have been loved by the best.
But the best.
You see? So I have been loved by the best. I'm not going to allow myself to be loved by.
By the way,
yes,
it's
by
hard.
nothing. So when
It's
you
not
know
like you're
better-
allowing yourself. It's just
Yeah.
so hard. You feel like, what am I doing? You're
Exactly,
lost.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
So when you know better, you will look for better. But when this is all you know, like it's possible the girls we're talking about that don't see anything wrong with their men, it's because that is all
they know.
Yes. I have a colleague of mine who went to Uganda for the first time, and when she came, she said, hey, I wish all Rwandan men could just go to Uganda. I think she had only dated those that had been here, never left the country. So she wished, and yet she was only shown just a little bit of
Jackie,
what
a
those
Ugandan
men
man
could
will
do.
walk you home because he has no money to transport
That's
you.
the
He will
thing.
walk you home. A guy here will ask you, so uragenda ute? How are you going back
That's the
home?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when we live, say, let's share this motor.
Yeah, sit here,
There we
sit
can
here.
sit two
Yes.
people. Right, yeah. But he will sacrifice his fare.
Yes.
To sit on the motor.
Oh my
Yeah, so
goodness.
it's just those small things
Small
that people
things.
that our men need to learn.
Yeah.
So that they can make
I think-
relationships better.
Better.
Yeah.
To help you out,
And as we conclude, we've
That
got
was
to
a
bring-
beautiful conclusion, by the way.
Yes, you see.
Yeah.
It was.
as we conclude, there's this thing you have to understand, like if culture keeps changing or evolving, if you stay stagnant to that one culture, you'll never grow.
True.
But if I learn the Kenyan culture, the Ugandan culture, go overseas, man, if you can. Learn the European culture, the American culture, then mix all that up.
We're so glad that you've joined us on this episode of Evolve Rwanda. Trust me, when you begin to talk about men and women, matters of the heart, you can never come to an end of it. And it is on that note that we'll stop, but we will continue with this conversation. I have both Stella and HERVE with me next week for a continuation of this. Thank you so much for having been part of the show. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. My name is Jackie and I look forward to seeing you next week. Our guests today were HERVE, the guy that is usually behind the camera, joining us today to speak for the men, and the only female saxophonist in Rwanda, the beautiful, talented and gifted Stella TUSH. And please do follow them on the different platforms as well. Stella TUSH, that's one on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Not complicated at all.
Yeah.
Stella and TUSH. HERVE, I don't see you on social media.
Yeah, don't bother.
Yeah, don't bother following HERVE. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly follow us, subscribe. It is at Evolve Limited.